Welcome to another episode of Inside Dance. And as always, we're so excited to have another guest with us, Trisha Gomez. Trisha and I, hi,
Hello.
Trisha and I met years ago, and she was teaching at a dance conference, and I was the room monitor. I was so taken by her story that I really wanted to begin to work with her with National Dance Foundation because really our thoughts were in line about wanting to give some opportunities to special needs kids. And actually, we're able to, as a foundation, offer some scholarships to her company that teaches teachers how to work with special needs dancers. But let's get to know her a little bit. So, Trisha, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I guess like everybody else, lifelong dancer. Back in, let's see, when was it? 20, I think 14 is when we started developing the RhythmWorks Integrative Dance training and the curriculum. So we've been doing that for 10 years now. Can you believe it? I know. But outside of dance world, who am I? I think first and foremost, I am a dog lover. I love my doggies. I think that dance is magical for many different reasons, which is why I am leaning more towards the clinical application of dance. I'm a supporter of other women, of other people who are out there doing their thing and making a difference. And I love seeing other people support things, other people support each other. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty simple. I'm also outside of dance.
You
Like,
did. You really helped National Dance Foundation so much as we were creating that hashtag KIC, kindness, inclusion, and community. But really, Trisha, why did you become involved in dance in the first place?
I don't think I had a choice. I was that kid who was like the 2-year-old dancing in the hall in the grocery store aisles, and my mom's like, "Stop moving." And so she puts me in dance class, and I think it's just been part of me. And it's really funny. I did a DNA test through 23andMe, and you can dump your data into this system that, like, you can look up all these random things. And I was going through all the different genes you can look up, and I see like dancer gene. And I was like, "Dancer gene? What do you mean there's like a dance gene?" And I'm like, "I wonder if I have it." And so I went through my data, and lo and behold, I have the dancer gene. And so I was like, "See, it is in my DNA. Like, I had no choice. I had to be a dancer."
Proof. You have official proof it's in your DNA. So that
100%. Yeah. So, I mean, there you go. I would really be interested to see how many dancers actually have the dancer gene. I
that's
bet.
so funny. So mine was the exact opposite. From hanging on trees and doing all the things, my mother was like, "Oh no, we're gonna have to have a little gracefulness happen," and then put me in dance class, and I loved it. So we're gonna well. I know you do so many wonderful things. When Trisha said she's a big supporter of others, she really is. It's phenomenal the networks that she encourages, brings people together. I mean, you introduced us to Mark Biondi, who helped do some wonderful fundraising, sponsored some special needs dancers for our NBA games, and that was out of a selflessness for you. So I have to always commend you. We would not have much of National Dance Foundation, our inclusion part, without Tricia. So I can't thank
Thanks.
you enough for that. You are been phenomenal. I know you love educating other teachers, but tell me how this program Rhythm Works really came about.
It was, I mean, I think everybody now knows the story of me losing my son midway through my pregnancy back in the day. And when you look back, and it was just really, I think it was a process that came to me through divine intervention, for lack of better words. I just think I was the conduit. And I think that the right people came at the right place and the right time, and the right information came my way, and the right classes for me to educate myself, because I had to do a lot of educating. It was something that was on my heart, and it was something that I kept saying, I think this would be really helpful just from seeing what I knew from what I've, taught throughout the years. I was like, this could really be helpful if applied in a way that was purposeful. And so I did a big, long journey of my own education to really understand the world of kids who have special needs and adults who have special needs. I actually learned that I have a lot of special needs along the way too. And these are things that I learned that you wouldn't even think about needing to know. It's like that case of like you don't know what you don't know.
Correct.
And as I started going through all of these courses, I was like, why does this not like why is this not something that every teacher learns? Because it's so relevant, not just for working with kids who have special needs, but working with all kids. And so that's when we started putting the curriculum together. And when I was building the training curriculum, I really wanted to give kind of a cookie cutter, like if A, then do B, if C, then do D. But it doesn't work that way. You would seem that's the easy way to do it, right? Here's
Yeah,
you have this problem, here's the
I
answer.
like it, but it doesn't work.
Not the solution. The reality is that it's you gotta have a big toolbox and a bunch of tools, and sometimes it get a little contractory on you, but sometimes, if it's a Phillips screwdriver, there's different sizes of Phillips screwdrivers, and it doesn't always fit in the hole that it needs to fit in, so you gotta change it up and do things a little bit differently. And I think dance education is like that, and working with kids, it's like that as well. You may see the same behavior from two different kids, but the cause of that behavior is completely different. And so you have to take a different approach. So when we were developing the curriculum, I realized that we had to do it in a way of kind of a three-prong approach of what is it? So define the thing, and then what does it look like? So if someone is seeking vestibular input, what does that look like? And then maybe you can start to recognize, hey, that might be a kid who needs more vestibular input. So it was what is it? What does it look like? And then what do we do about it? So then there's like try this, try this, try this, try that, try that, try that. And because one thing is going to work, not one thing's going to work for each kid, right? So you're going to have a different solution for each kid. And I just wanted to provide a training that was more of like teach a man to fish as opposed to just feed the man some fish, right? So I wanted the teachers to be able to understand, first of all, be aware of it and recognize it, and then kind of assess the situation and apply different possible solutions to it. And I think we accomplished that. I think it's a big eye-opening training, whether you're teaching quote unquote a student with special needs or not, everything.
And it's interesting because following you, it really kind of opened up a lot for me because it's just because I watch like, special needs dancers perform, like at the NBA game, I, we started to discover that a lot of teachers were either having special needs kids in their classes, wanted to open it up, and really just didn't know how. So the heart was big. I mean, I think years back, before COVID, we did a big A Chance to Dance with yourself. Jessica Michaels helped bring some in. Debbie D. We had in Florida, even Al Marino's group wore the shirts and acknowledged special needs. How have you seen the awareness grow? Because I know every time we offer an application, we let it be known we're accepting applications for some scholarship, poof, it blows up.
Yeah, it's like mainstream now, right? So previously, I think a lot of the mentality that I was hearing was, I want to do this. I'm just scared. I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to offend anybody. It was just that fear based heart. I want to do it, but I'm scared. Now it's just a matter of we want to do this. We need to do this. Our community is asking for this type of opportunity. So teachers are now seeking out help, so I've seen it become just more mainstream, and enabling, right? So now teachers have a way to, say, yes, we can accept your child into dance class no matter what, right?
And what's nice is you've created a comfort zone for those teachers. You've created a community that everybody can support themselves in, and now they're not afraid to take that one or to have a whole class. Or we know how valuable in this dance studio setting a time slot can be with rec dancers or competition dancers. But now they're opening up, and they're finding when they're opening up to special needs children, poof, it's
Yeah.
exploding.
And I
So
think I think it's important too for studios to be inclusive in all of their classes, but also have a specialized class as well, because certain kids will thrive in certain conditions. And some kids, even though their skill may not be up to par with everyone else in a general class, they're still participating and having a fun, and it's not causing behavioral problems because they're feeling over challenged or anything like that. That is where that child needs to be. Some kids in that situation become over challenged, and then that's when you see behavioral problems, or the kids not having a good time. And for those kids, having something that's a specialized class that you can kind of take more time to teach foundational skills, apply dance in ways that helps to rewire the brain and build muscle patterns. I think that's an important option as well. So each kid will find their right place, and I think the specialized classes are a pathway. So some kids need to start there, but eventually they can go ahead and transition into a general class as well. So I think it's important to have both options.
I do too. And you and I have spent many, many hours talking about all this. You were always gracious to help support NDF and works and trade show booths. We would talk about how to grow it, and even attended our first Chicago Bulls game, if you remember that.
So much fun.
It was so much fun. And that was amazing because we had 30 special needs dancers. And Stephanie was our first scholarship winner.
I,
The
I love her group. Her kids are just like shining lights. They come out on. I remember them coming out onto the court, and the audience was like, "Yeah!" They were so
they were amazing. And she had some higher on the spectrum. She had some that were blind. She had fabulous helpers. So that's what was, I mean, I felt like, I mean, you and I have been talking about it for a long time, but I felt like that was really, that was amazing. That
Yeah.
was,
Going back to the KIC. I think that's really where the community comes into play, because as a performer and a kid, getting that opportunity to perform on that court is a big deal. But as just a random person sitting in the audience, when they see all of these dancers out on the court, to them that signals, wow, okay, dance is not just for the elite, right? It's not just for people who can stand on their toes and do a bunch of spins, right? This is for everybody, and I think it really opens the eyes of the community of how important dance is, and when it comes to inclusion. So I just all
it's a
around
it's a good community because like you say, when we're at the NBA games and even the audience sees what's happening. It's interesting. We were at the 76ers game and we had a lineup kind of right outside the court. And there was a mother and a young boy who loved to dance, but somebody had gifted him courtside to come watch the warm-ups. But she saw we had all of these special needs dancers, and he was special needs. And she was like, he loves to dance. So we brought everybody out. When everybody was out, we said, well, let him come dance. She goes, he doesn't know the routine. I said, it doesn't matter. So he stood over to dance the entire time.
love it.
Someone helped follow him with the routine. We had everyone inclusive. It's just like you say. It. I mean, you cry every time you're there. It's like a very moving experience. And again, I credit a lot of you for helping us to create that experience,
Oh, thank
come up with it, and think of it. And The mission, like you said, for NDF is KIC. What does that mean to you?
It
Kindness, inclusion, and community. What does that mean to you?
it just means that to me, dance is magical. It can tear down walls. It's the great bringer together of things. I was recently watching, I think it's called The Greatest Night in Pop, and it was the making of We Are the World, the song,
Oh,
and they recorded that song.
I'm a little older, so I remember it. Yes.
Right? And as I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like music and movement are just they're healing, right?" And in a world that's just bonkers right now, we need some healing. Like, I feel like this is a great opportunity to just bring people together and heal and say, we're more alike than different, right? And we don't have to be so judgmental of each other. And just because you don't like what I don't like doesn't mean you're a bad person. I think through dance, we can make a difference. So
I agree.
I believe in it, Kathy. I believe it.
I know you do. So, with that said, next month, and we've done a couple of big celebrations for it. You've choreographed some of our routines for it. National Dance Week is coming up April 19th through 28th. What would you tell people why they should celebrate?
I don't even think that there is I think you should just do it. Like, why even there's no reason not to do it. Everything about it is positive. It's positive for the kids. The mission is positive. It's positive for your community. You get out there and you get to do these wonderful things. And look, you're dancing at a basketball game, right? For those for
The loving life, of course.
Which is great, like, yeah, the sports lovers, dads, and all of our female sports lovers are like, "Finally, something I get to enjoy," right? Instead of sitting in a theater for hours watching dance, they get to finally go watch a game and watch their kid dance and, brag to their friends, "Oh, we're going to the Bulls game tonight because my child is dancing." Like, that's
I
cool,
know.
right? So,
It's And
yeah,
there's so much, and with National Dance Week, there's so much. Like, we have essay and poster contests. We have gotten amazing artwork and
amazing,
some
yeah,
heartfelt stories come back because, as you know, just because you love dance doesn't make you the number one dancer in the class or in the studio, which
right.
is fine. Dance loves everybody, and everybody could love dance.
Yeah, I think all of the elements that you guys do, it really brings out different ways to shine for dancers. Like you said, your passion for dance has nothing to do with talent
Correct.
for dance,
Correct. And
right?
that's when National Dance Week was started. It wasn't started necessarily just for the dancer. It was
Mhm.
started for the whole community. So
Yeah, and yeah, NDF has such a wonderful history. And it's been led throughout the years by some amazing,
Gina Rivera, 30 years
well-respected
ago.
people in the industry,
I
and
know.
so it comes with great history and great opportunity, and I think that anybody who's even considering doing this in their own way, right? If you can't make it to one of the basketball games, that's totally
Write
fine.
an essay. Do
Yeah,
I get a little dance mob together. Create a new shop. I mean, everybody has different time and abilities and things they can do. So there's just so much stuff. We
and
try to
it's a great marketing avenue for the studio as well, right? Like, great way to say, "Hey, send out a press release to the local newspapers and TV stations, and, hopefully you'll get a 20-second spot on TV," and that's
You're
great
not doing
marketing.
it just for yourself. You're doing it for the celebration nationwide. So that makes it big.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah. You're
yeah.
part of something big.
I love it. Trisha, thank you so much. I know you have a crazy busy schedule all the time. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this interview with us because you've been such a great supporter of National Dance Foundation and myself personally. So I want to thank you deeply from my heart and continue. It'll be time to be grabbing those applications to start awarding some more scholarships again. So
Mm,
if you have a scholarship application, send it in would be the time. So thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Kathy, and thank you for carrying the torch, the torch.
Or carry either or, it's okay.
I move around too much. I have no idea what accent I'm speaking today.
I like it.
You do a lot of work
I
and so,
love it though.
to keep this going. So I want to make sure you get some thanks and know that you
Oh,
are appreciated for doing this and for recognizing the need out in the community to be more inclusive with dance and really being out on the forefront to push that wave through so that it becomes more mainstream. So thank you.
well, thank you. And thank everyone for joining us for another episode of Inside NDF. Again, we stream on our YouTube channel, Apple, and Spotify. And if you want to know more about the organization, please visit us on our website, nationaldancefoundation.org. We say goodbye to Tricia, and how I end each episode. As always, keep dancing. Thank you, everybody.